Okay, this is continuing lesson number 59, another type of multi-step. Now this one you can see is 5x plus 3 equals x times x minus 3. So this part here, the first step, we learned in, I think it was lesson 57, the distributive property. Yeah, 57. You have to work this step first. You have to go 8 times the x and then 8 times the negative 3. So here I got 5x plus 3 equals 8 times x and 8 times negative 3. So that's going to be a negative 24. Okay, so now I got 5x on this side, I got 8x on this side. So we have variables on both sides. So I want to get the x's all on one side, so I can move the 5x or I can move the 8x. Remember, there's usually more than one way of doing it. But with that step down, the next step I got to get all the x's on one side. So let's go ahead, I'll just do this way, negative 8x, the opposite of positive 8x, minus 8x, that gives me 0. I gotta go negative 8x over here. So that would give me negative 3x here plus 3 equals, I got x, 8x minus 8x, that's 0, minus 24. Okay, so now this should start looking familiar. Now I need to isolate the 1x here, or the x, now that I have them all on one side. So I want to get rid of this plus 3 by doing a negative 3. So I have to do a negative 3 on this side. So that'll leave me negative 3x, 3 minus 3 is 0, equals negative 24 minus 3, that would be, well, now I'm up to negative 27. Okay, so now I got to find negative 3 times some number equals negative 27. Well, a lot of people right away see, well, 3 times 9 is going to be 27. But to stay with our process here, to get rid of the negative 3, the opposite of multiplying is dividing. So negative 3 divided by negative 3, that'll be 1x or x. So I got to do the same over here, divide by negative 3. So negative 27 divided by negative 3, that'll be a positive 9. Because when dividing, negative and negative becomes a positive. So that'll be the answer. And you can see if I put 9 up here for the x, 5 times 9 is 45. Plus 3, that would be, plus 3, that would be 48. And then here, if I go 9 minus 3, that would be 6. So 6 times 8 would be 48. So the answer is x equals 9. Okay, here's another one just like it. Number 15 from the book. Now remember, these are from the book. Here again, I got to do the distributive. I got x times, 5 times x minus 7 equals 5. So I got to distribute that 5 here. So if I go 5 times x, then 5 times negative 7, that would be negative 35 equals 5. So now, hopefully you're getting good at these here. Should be pretty simple to see that I got to isolate the x, get everything over to this side. So therefore, I want to deal with this first. The negative 35, the opposite of that is a positive 35. Positive 35 on that side too, to keep everything balanced. So that'll give me 5x. Minus 35 plus 35, that's 0, equals 5 plus 35 is 40. So now I got to go 5 times something equals 40, which a lot of people will see the answer right away. But if I stick to this, 5 divided by 5 is 1x. or here. So I got to do the same on this side. 40 divided by 5 would be 8. Okay, so that would be, if you put 8 here, 8 minus 7 is 1, times 5, that would be 5. Okay, same thing with the worksheet. You have them on this worksheet also. You can see number 10, you got to do the distributive first. You got number 14, you got to do the distributive first here. 16, you got to do the distributive. Okay, so, but how would you do the distributive for, let's see, number 9. You can see here it's negative 8 equals negative x plus 4. Well, you got to assume there's a 1 there. That would be like negative 1 times x plus 4. So to do distributive, you got to go negative 8 equals, you got negative 1 times x. That would be negative 1x, or just x, negative x. And then you got negative 1 times negative positive 4. So that would be a negative 4. So you can see the negative here just changes the signs on the inside. Just like here, this is, you got to look at that, negative 1 times p minus 8. So when you do this one, 14 equals negative 1 times p, that would be negative p. And then negative 1 times the negative 8, that would be a positive 8. So if I finish this one out, I got 14 times the negative p plus 8. So here if I go negative 8 to get rid of that, that'll lead to, I got negative 8 on this side. So if I go 14 minus 8, that's 6 equals, and that cancels out, negative p. But here I don't want the p to be negative, so if I change this one to a positive, well then I have to change this one to a negative. I got to do the same thing. Okay, or it's like if I divide this side by a negative 1 and divide this side by a negative 1, you end up with a negative 6. Okay, one more example. Let's try 14 or 15. Let's see which one I already worked out, so I do it right. Let's try, I don't have any more. Let's try 14. See if I can do this one right off the cuff. So I got 5m plus 34 equals negative 2 times 1 minus 7n. So the first thing I want to do is that distributive right here. So I want to leave this. And then I got negative 2 times 1 will be negative 2. And then negative 2 times negative 7, n, that would be negative, well no, negative times a negative equals a positive 14n. Okay, so now I got the problem of getting the n's all on one side. I'm going to move the 5 to this side, because if I go negative 5 on this side and negative 5 on this side, I end up with a positive 7. I got positive 7n, 14n minus 5, no, that would be 9n, sorry. I'm running out of room here. Plus negative 2. And then over here, that goes away, so this will be 34. Okay? So I'm going to rewrite this up here so it's cleaner. Negative 2 plus 9n. So now this should look familiar. To get rid of, I want to isolate the n. So I can get rid of the negative 2 by doing a positive 2 on this side and a positive 2 on this side. So 34 plus 2, that'll be 36. And that's 0, so I'm left with 9n. So 9 times something equals 36. So if I divide by 9, n would equal 365 is 4. Okay, so that would be the answer. N would be 4. Okay, and then the next video I'll do a couple more examples of these other ones that are a little bit longer, more steps, and then the last video will be the answers.